Esther has an experience. They own 40 acres right on Interstate 10. And there was a big high-rise building on it at one time that was torn down, and there was a $40 million bankruptcy on the property. It's really a nice piece of property and has a lot of potential. And the Abraham Hicks Center is sort of nestled in the center of it, so it has all of this wonderful land around it. And so there they are, living happily ever after in this sort of private environment. And up on the outer corner, there's a part of it that actually does touch against Interstate 10. And so, of course, that's the prime property. That property sells by the square foot instead of by the acre. It's valuable, and people want it, and it's just beginning to be developed, and there's a lot of interest happening. But the apron that the state owns, Esther owns everything on the other side of the fence, but there's an apron that is the state's property, and it is really unkept. And the state doesn't want to keep it, and nothing is on the property. It's unused land at this point. And when it rains, as it has been doing in Texas, all of the fill, the road fill, sort of just washes down and it gets out in the middle of the road. And so Jerry and Esther had about 25 meetings with different state officials in order to remedy this. They offered to buy the land. The state won't sell the land, but we can trade land. So they offered to buy this land and trade it. They spent hundreds of hours in negotiation so that they could own that piece, so that they could enhance it. And so now there's a new girl who is helping Esther doing some property management. And so she said, I noticed that with the last rain, a lot of that highway fill has washed down across a driveway that we don't use and across the roadway. And she said, so I've called some people in order to see if we can do something about it. And Esther thought, you don't have a snowball's chance in hell of getting anywhere with that. And then Esther thought, wait, what's the disc that I want to choose? What's the disc that I want to choose? And so she thought, well, this is a fresh new girl. She hasn't had the experience with them. She hasn't had all of those meetings. She hasn't been down that path. Maybe she'll have a better chance of bringing this about. And so she set the appointment with the people that were from the Department of Transportation, and they came, and Esther said, I'd sort of kind of like to be there. And then Esther thought, I shouldn't be there. And then Esther thought, but I'd sort of kind of like to be there. So Esther beed there, and when the men came, they said exactly what Esther knew that they would say. Because Esther's belief in that, her experience with that, Esther's a really bright girl, and Esther and Jerry really wanted that, and they put a lot of effort into it, and they really wanted to make a change, and they were willing to do almost anything to bring it about, and could not bring the results about that they wanted. And so now what does Esther bring to that table this time, all of these years later? She brings her same clogged pipes, and her clogged pipes are way more influential than Kelly's bright, fresh, open pipes. Silly girl that she is. Silly girl that she is. How could she not want to garner the experience that Esther has had? The experience in not getting what she wants when she deals with the state of Texas. How could... And so Esther realizes that they can't get there from there. In other words, Esther's got to get way out of this equation if anything is going to shift, because Esther's just going to bring the old stuff back. And then when she thinks back, she remembers how much negative information that she and Jerry attracted about that prior to their first meeting and their second or their third or their fourth. In other words, they didn't have a chance. They didn't have a chance because they didn't know about clogged pipes then, and they weren't reaching for high-flying discs then. And they were facing reality. They were dealing with people. They were dealing with government. They were dealing with red tape. They were dealing with bureaucracy. They were dealing with all of that, and they got nowhere with enormous effort. And we want Esther to know, and you, that all you have to do is lay some new pipes. And sometimes the best way to lay new pipes is to just get off the subject for a while. You said several times as you began, I have a tendency, or I'm inclined, and of course, your logic tells you that your life experience should be for something. It's the way you try to counsel your children. You've had life experiences that have shown you things, and you want to spare others from having the same experiences. And so you try to tell them about the roads that you've been down, and you try to redefine for yourself the roads that you've been down. And we're just here to tell you that all you do is redefine the vibration and practice it longer and put more caliche in your pipes that prevent you from getting easily to where you want to go, and that there is not enough action in the world to get around that. You've got to go about it a different way. You just have to go about it a different way. And some subjects are so raw and so ragged that it's hard for you to go about it a different way. So you got to get off those subjects. You got to get off those subjects. Esther has been off that subject long enough that if she had just left it to Kelly, it would have unfolded in a different way, and it's not too late yet. But she brought to the meeting everything that she remembered and felt inspired to impart it to anyone at this meeting who would now listen. You see, because it's experience that she's gathered, that she thinks should be relayed. Because there is a human tendency that is backwards. It goes, if we do not explore and acknowledge our history, then we are sure to repeat it. And we say, well, it's a little like that, but these are the exact words. The more you redefine and re-explain what has happened before, the more you keep what has happened before as your current experience. Period. Because law of attraction says that it must be so. So then you and Esther, you have to decide, well, do I want a different result than I've seen before? And if the answer is yes, then your logic must tell you that I have to go about it in a different way. I have to find a different route of beliefs. So I'm going to find the path of least resistance, which is the belief of most allowance. I have to find a way of fostering the beliefs that make me think it's going to work rather than fostering the beliefs that make me think it's not going to work. So you might have to get real general. Things usually work out for me. I'm pretty good on this subject and this subject and this subject. In other words, you just have to lay the thought pathways. And after a while, you really get the hang of that, and you can really begin to feel the momentum that you're gathering. It's sort of like just clearing a space and then watching it fill in, then clearing a space and then watching it fill in, and then clearing a space and watching it fill in. It's like that. So now pretend that we've just picked you from the crowd and you've just come up, and now, because you're in a different vibrational place than you were when we first called you up here, you're in a different vibrational place. What do you want to say to us now? We'll be gentle. I have some things I mean to do. I'm kind of excited about doing it. And I don't have to give you the details. I just want you to feel the energy of it. I just want you to know that I have some things that I want to do, and things are moving forward for me. And the evidence is revealing itself to me in a steady way. And I'm really enjoying this path of unfolding. And it's not just the end result that I'm looking forward to. It's the process along the way. Is that right? Did we say it right? Did we say it close to the way you're feeling it now?
Well, let me take my try at it. I know I have some important gifts to give to the world.
Yeah.
And it's my intention to make those real. I have the capability to make them real.
Yeah.
And it will happen.
Yeah. Yeah. And now, we love that, and so did they. But now we want to ratchet it back a notch from determination, which sort of garners a little effort in the strong words that you were offering. And now we'd like to hear it from you again, but softer. In other words, in determination, there is a efforting. So just a little less determination and a little more, of course, it's the next logical stepness. I have some gifts. We liked where you started. I have some gifts. Some things are just meant to be. Sometimes you're just born to do stuff. Sometimes the momentum is such that it's just illogical that it doesn't pan out that way.
Okay, I understand now what you mean. It's natural and inevitable that things are going to work out in the way that I want.
Indeed.
And it'll be easy for me.
Yeah. 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 Perfect choice of words. Natural and inevitable and fun. Yeah. Really good. Enough?
Enough.
Yeah.
Thank you.